This is question 40 from section 1 of the 2016 TSA. And in this question we're asked which of the options is an assumption underlying the argument. So let's look at the argument. It's very simple. First it says legitimacy, which it defines as the right to use state power, but we don't actually have to care about what it means. So legitimacy is only derived from the consent of the governed, so the people in the country. Next it says in democracies, regular elections are held to ensure that power is legitimate. Then it says therefore, so this is meant to follow from the previous two, the more voters participate in elections, the more legitimate the system is. So let's just quickly look at the structure of this argument more closely and which of the options might be an assumption. Well, to begin with, the writer says that it's consent that produces legitimacy, and their conclusion is that more votes produce more legitimacy. So it looks like they're equating consent with votes, or saying if people are voting, that means they're consenting. So this is a good place to look for an assumption. And in fact, if we look at our options A, B, C, D, E, and we look at B, B says that voting in elections implies consent to the political system. And that is what the writer seems to be assuming. So that looks like it's going to be the answer. We can also rule out A, C, D, and E very quickly. A says turnout is higher in democracies. Well, firstly, you can't really have turnout in non-democracies, so this doesn't make sense to assume. And secondly, the writer isn't comparing democracies and non-democracies. C says there's always need for government. Well, the writer's only talking about the case where there is a government and we're looking to legitimise it, so that's not relevant. D says the more people who vote, the more common interests are met. The writer hasn't talked about common interests at all, so this can't be something they're assuming. And E, non-democratic systems rely on coercion. That has a similar problem to A in that the writer isn't comparing democracies and non-democracies. So it can't be something you're assuming. So here we see clearly that the answer is B.